Cheers, welcome to my channel. This is beginning of the month of May Tarot Oracle reading. And Sagittarius, you are the star of this astrological insight. Whoops, if your sun sign is not Sagittarius, we all have a little bit of Sagittarius in us somewhere. If you do have your birth chart, what house is Sagittarius in? That could give you some idea as to where this information is most likely to be for you. All right, and this is a timely reading, so if you're watching it at this time, this is the perfect time for you. Having said that, this is, it might have been some time since I've posted this. If it's been a while, what was going on back then in your life? It might give you further clarity as to your situation now. So the underlying energy at the bottom of the deck says, this is the Chariot energy. The Chariot says that on the spiritual realm, whatever is taking place, quite often this represents judgment or justice coming through. It says you're on your divine path and it's clearing the way for you. So it's like a tank. Get out of my way. I'm on my destined path. There's no reins here because this is God's plan. And so this just goes on automatic, basically. And so this is saying it's coming in. It's already in, happening on the spiritual realm and will be in the near future for you coming through actually on the physical. So it can represent, sometimes this can represent, hi Stella, are you going to come and join us for the reading? Okay. That's a good girl. Okay, you sit nice on my lap. Sorry, my cat wants to be here. She loves the energy of the readings. Her job is to purr and raise the vibration. A cat's vibration can raise the vibration to lower your blood pressure. These days I figure we could all use that. This energy is talking about sometimes law and order coming through on the physical realm. So the black and whites, you know, they call the police cars the black and whites. That's what that energy sometimes can represent as well in the 3D. Now this is the Queen of Cups, and she is the most loving, maternal of all, queen of all the four queens in the minor arcana. She has her cup of love on her lap there, and it's like a trophy. It's very big, and she has a lid on it, saying that she is a container of unconditional love. This would be someone who would be most likely in a more traditional relationship of marriage, etc. And sometimes this can represent the maternal bloodline. And so this is the internal forces, the what ifs in life. You can tell if it's an internal force because if you're laying awake at night and you can't sleep, the question you'll be asking is what if? What if they do this? What if I do that? What if I don't do this right? What if I don't get the job? That type of energy. So, you know, you do have control over your internal forces. Your external forces, you have less control over, but you can either respond in a strong way or react in a weak way to them. So that's what you do have control over. This is talking about the Magician. This is an energetic upgrade. He's the number one card in the first card. The Fool comes across in his journey. Well, he's the first card after the Fool anyway. Not necessarily, depends on your journey if you meet up with the Magician or not. But this is talking about being able to, as above, so below. Bringing your thoughts and aspirations down to earth to create a beautiful garden. There's an infinity symbol here. This is representing infinite potential to the power of infinity and beyond. We also do have the tools on the bench here, and this is saying you have infinite potential, you have the tools you need, but you need to learn how to use the tools and which tools to use at which time. So this is how you identify with yourself right now. This is really good, strong energy. You're feeling like that there's a lot of opportunity and you're ready to, you know, embrace that energy. The Lover's card is coming in, so this can represent you may have just met someone, or maybe someone's coming right around the corner. Maybe that's part of this energy here. The Lover's card represents an energy of two partners coming together, and the sun is shining on this. So this represents that it's divinely guided. The sun represents happiness. The sun card is the happiest card in the deck, and this is God's energy. I'm talking about being on God's plan. So maybe you were destined to meet someone. There's a cloud in between them, which can sometimes represent an energy of maybe you have never met this person before. If you have, you don't know them that well. You might know of them, but and you definitely haven't had a relationship with them before, like an intimate relationship. In the old days, the Lover's card in tarot would represent choices. So if you're not looking for love, this can mean that love might find you anyway, but it could also mean that you have a choice to make, and that you're you're choosing between two different options here. And this is talking about your abundance and self-worth. And then we have here, this is communication from early life. So this could represent an energy. This is rough water in tarot, represents chaos or volatile emotions. And this conveyor of this boat, he has to push off really hard with this pole, like dig deep to be able to push this boat out of the rough waters into the calm waters. And so this represents like when you're the swords, this represent the energy of air, the element of air. And this is about your thoughts. So your thoughts can be, they are made up of your mental intelligence and your mind. So the swords quite often represent discipline of the mind, also of your mental intelligence, your thoughts, how you express yourself, whether that be through the written or or verbal word. And this is talking about sometimes this energy with these two swords here can represent that there's some sort of, that like the adult and child without any baggage can represent you and your inner child. And maybe something happened when you were a child that you either remember or you don't remember, but it's affecting maybe how you approach love, how you approach your relationships, etc. And so this is about wanting to meditate and pray to be able to get close to God so that you can go to calmer waters. So you might feel like you have a bit of a racing mind, and it does look like here maybe you've had disappointment in love. Now, with this energetic upgrade, I feel like this might be a new relationship coming in, and then you went and you did a lot of work on your inner child and healing as much as you could your heart after having a disappointing relationship, or something happened that you were very disappointed in love. The cups in tarot do represent romantic love, but sometimes they can represent, love of someone or something else, like love of family, friends, your children, pets, and it can also represent something you love to do or be. So this, if it's not love that you're, and it's more about choices, with the Lover's card, quite often this does represent an intimate relationship like that, like a romantic relationship, but it also could represent something you love to do or be that you got disappointed in. So these three cups could represent, attempting to launch something or having three different relationships, and they all turned out like, to be like not great. And so he's disappointed, and the universe is saying, oh, come on, give it one more go here. And he's like, nah, I don't want to have to deal with any more disappointment. I think I'll just give up on love, or I'll give up on this project or whatever, this business or whatever it is. And the universe is going, no, really, give it another go, because there's a good chance that it will go through. And he's like, I'll have to think about it. Or sometimes this could represent having given someone three different, three chances already, and they're asking you, can I have one more chance? And you're like, no, 3 strikes, you're out, I'm done. And in a romantic relationship, this can represent an energy of a third party energy. And sometimes the 4th cup can represent that there was a pregnancy and there's a baby on the way, but not necessarily, yours. Or, if you're the female end of, or the male end of this, it could be that, yeah, it's not yours. And if it's your, the other way around, it could be that your partner is pregnant by someone else. So it's that type of energy. Remember, in the tarot, all of the figures are archetypes, so they're not gender specific. They represent masculine and feminine energy. So the male figures can be feminine, or male. The male figures can be female as well as male in their masculine energy, and the females in the tarot can be, or the females and can be a male or a female in their feminine energy. We do have the Hierophant here. So the Hierophant is talking about justice coming in, and justice begins on the spiritual realm. Like that's talking about the Chariot quite often. These cards quite often come together because if there's some sort of justice that needs to be delivered, it's the Hierophant's job to bring that down through the traditional structure. And so this energy can be, you know, like if you are into religion and you follow a certain religion, this could be leaders of your church, like popes, cardinals, bishops, that type of energy, gurus. People that you look up that are in charge of how the church is run, and you know that you go and listen to when you attend service. If you're more on the spiritual side, this could represent meditation and prayer, connecting with God himself without an intermediary. And then that energy coming down to the to the 3D. So this would represent courts and judges and, you know, people who put laws in place, the court systems, the legal systems that are in the 3D. Excuse me, I've got the hiccups, I think. So this is in the area of your creativity, romance, and children. So yeah, this could be sort of some sort of energy. There was maybe a third party involvement, and I was just picking up, there could be a baby on the way for some. And this energy here, like, you know, just the maternal energy on top of everything else. So the Tower is when, you know, your intuition has been telling you, like, hey, you need to take a look at that. And at first it's a whisper and you're like, oh, you don't really hear it. And then, you know, the frying pan comes out and whack, you get it over the head and you're like, ouch. And the universe says, yeah, you need to pay attention. There's really something you need to take a look at here. There's something going on, and your intuition is trying to tell you something, but you don't hear it, you don't do anything about it. So then the 2x4 comes out and you still aren't doing anything about it. So then the Tower has to hit. So it's better if you can avoid the Tower, because when the Tower hits, it's usually very dramatic, like lightning's hitting, you know, the top of the turret of the castle, and it's in flames and two people are falling out. Now one of these people is really shocked and the other person is like, I knew I should have done something about this sooner. But this is talking then about having to rebuild, and maybe you could have nipped it in the bud and figured it out sooner. But Towers happen for a reason, and they never happen at an ideal time. And regardless of which side of the Tower you're on, the energy is it's usually shocking and comes out of nowhere. It seems like it's nowhere, but Stella, my cat, sees the light on my mic, and she's trying to, are you trying to kill my mic? Don't do that. She's purring away on my lap. You may not be able to hear. I'm wearing a noise cancelling mic, and it's pinned to my lapel, and she can see the green light. So, you silly girl. She makes me laugh. She just loves the readings. She loves the energy of them. So she gets in a playful mood sometimes. So this is good energy coming in if she's in this mood. But anyway, the Tower, so like, yeah, it's, you know, maybe you could have avoided it and nipped it in the bud, but if you've been on the right side of the law and you've been doing your best to, you know, be a good person and do things the correct way, be on your God-given path. Generally the tower is uncomfortable, but it's necessary because it's a reality check. So it could be like, you weren't paying attention to what was really going on and kind of glossing over things that you really need to take a look at before they had a real negative effect on your life. And so the reality check is a blessing in a way, but it never feels like it when it hits. And maybe a year later you're saying, oh, that was the best thing that ever happened to me. But in the middle of it, it always feels really challenging and hard and disruptive, And so the world energy, but the good news is now we're talking about the external forces. And with the external forces, you're not asking anymore, what if? Now you're asking, what the EF? What happened here? But the world card is representing, it's card number 21 in Major Arcana, and this means that this cycle is over. So when this reality check hits, this energy starts to shift, and I feel like that's when things start getting better for you, because you're addressing what was blocking you from being able to have what you want, basically. And so this is talking about, the world card talks about completing a cycle, and you've done everything, you've learned what you can from this cycle, and it's talking about a closure, basically, of one cycle and then moving into a new one. And it does represent achievement, even sometimes if it doesn't seem so, because if you learn from this cycle, you'll take that into the next cycle and be, have that knowledge and be stronger for it. We have, the shift disturber is here in this reading too. This shift disturber has been in almost every reading. I feel like, a lot of times the astrological readings will have very similar cards, no matter how many times you shuffle, and you're like, and like there's always different cards, but there's a few that show up quite often, and that's because the energy astrologically is very much the same for everyone. It's just our approach to how we deal with it and which signs affect us the most. And I feel like the shift disturber is turning up because it's kind of a different energy, and it's got a lot to do with Uranus moved into Gemini on April 24th. And Uranus in Gemini, Gemini is right across opposite from Sagittarius on the horoscope chart. So the sign opposing you has, Gemini and Sagittarius, when the planets hit in certain ways, it affects both of you in a similar way or opposite way, but it's significant. So because Uranus, Uranus hasn't been in Gemini since 1941 to 1949. It generally stays in each sign for about 7 to 8 years, depending. And this energy of Uranus in Gemini, I did a reading for that, the end of the month of April, if you want to look more into it. But bottom line, the energy of Uranus in Gemini is the truth is going to come out. And we're seeing a lot of it, and we're going to see it for the next 7 to 8 years. So even in our own personal lives, there may be like things that we weren't, oh my goodness, I wasn't aware of this. Or my intuition was trying to tell me to look at it and I just didn't want to see it, whatever it is, it's coming out. And so there's a lot of truths coming out every day. And then you can see that at the top of the pyramid for sure, with different, like what's going on in the world right now. There's one, there's one truth after another coming out, and it's kind of like, whoa. A lot of people feel kind of like the rug's been pulled out from underneath them. And because Uranus is about bringing that truth out, Uranus is an air sign, or Gemini is an air sign, and it's very witty. And, sometimes Gemini energy is confused of being like two people. It's the twins, because they're so quick to be able to change their mind. But that's because they have a very fluid mind, and it's very quick. And so they can see, they can look at things and see them differently all the time. And they're really good at that. And so but the Gemini energy is also, because you're opposing it in the wheel, affects Sagittarius energy a lot. So you're going to notice that energy coming in a lot, and it's wanting you to look at things from a different angle constantly. Like try doing it this way, try doing it that, or not try, do it this way, do it that way. Trying is not doing. So you want to explore the different ways that you can approach something. And it doesn't have to be, it can be, it's better if it's just a very slight difference. And sometimes just tweaking something a little can make a big difference. So you're going to be noticing this probably in this Uranus in Gemini. The last time it was there was 1941 to 1949, when World War II energy was big, and then the after effects of that. So this is kind of the it's quite a shocking energy. It brings around like a lot of change in the way the world runs and the way families run, that type of energy. So just be aware of that. Like you just have to accept, okay, for the next 7 or 8 years, I've got to be really open-minded. And you know, for Sagittarius, that's not so hard, because you enjoy new adventures. So approach it as a new adventure instead of being irritated by having to learn everything all over again. That kind of, and then coupled with Saturn and Neptune both moving into Aries energy. Those signs are like 14-year cycle for Neptune. With Neptune was in the sign of Pisces for 14 years, and comfortable there because that's what rules Pisces. But Pisces is the senior executive of it's the very last sign of the horoscope, and it's a water sign, and it moved into Aries, which is the newborn fire sign, and they're very, very different energies. And when you think about all the new that a baby has to learn, that energy is what you have to deal with. It's that type of energy, learning how to do things a new way. And then the Saturn also moved in there, and it's about responsibility. And so sometimes it's really annoying because the way that worked for you is just not working anymore. And like you'll see that, like they'll update your phone, and the next thing you know, you're not receiving your phone calls because it's got some feature on it that stops unknown phone numbers from getting through. So when you have packages delivered, they can't reach you. I found that out. Like I wasn't expecting that from an update on my phone. So it's that type of energy. It can be annoying, but it's also, you could see, oh, okay, that could be useful for spam calls and all that. But still, like, you know, if you don't know about it, it makes life a little more challenging. Little things like that's the energy that we're going to be in. And it's really, you're going to notice that Gemini and Sagittarius are going to notice that the most out of all 12 of the signs. So the shift disturber is kind of that type of energy. It's like, why is this person doing what they're doing? He's a walking contradiction. It might have something to do with these two swords here. Like this could be, this person could have come into your life to bring up your childhood things that needed to be healed, you know, that kind of energy. So it's like one of those things, okay, you gotta, you know, you're gonna have to deal with this energy now. So it could be that, but like he's planted two swords, he's carrying these 5, he's looking over his shoulder at the past, but he's moving forward, and he's not looking where he's going. He's sneaky, he's on tiptoes, and he's wearing bright red shoes and a bright red hat in broad daylight and sneaking around with these other swords. And it's like, what is this about? Like if he's a thief, he's not a thief in the night, he's in broad daylight. But, you know, remembering that the swords represent your intelligence and your mind and your thoughts and how you express them. This could be intellectual material that he's stealing, or it could be an energy of, you know, forgery, identity theft, that kind of, someone who's pushing paper at a desk, and they're in broad daylight, they're at their desk there, you see them working, and you assume they're doing their job, but what they're really doing is, you know, white collar crime basically. And so it's kind of that kind of weird energy. And then what bothers me the most about this is that the way he's carrying these swords, because nobody carries swords like this. Like these are so super sharp, and he's not looking where he's going, so he could easily trip. And if he does, he could really, really hurt himself. Like, this is so dangerous. Like, why would you carry swords like that? And the thing is, you know, if he's that cavalier with his own energy and careless with his own safety, he's not going to be any safer with yours. So it's an energy, and it's sitting here in your partnerships, your commitments, and spouse. That's like not a great feeling. So no wonder there's a tower here. Like, if you have to always be wondering, what's this person going to do next? What am I going to, like, what, you know, what are they up to next, kind of. And sometimes that energy, like in the right place, could be innovative and fun, but not as a partner that you have to do serious business with in business, or if it's a committed relationship in your marriage or something. I mean, it's just a pain in the butt, really. And so this energy, okay, so for this is talking about this energy. I feel that definitely it's saying that this card is reconciliation, but it sometimes represents the past energy that needs closure. Again, this inner child energy, possibly, that you could use, you know, take a look at it, and maybe there's something that's happened when you were a child or whatever, and it's made you present, like, approach life in a certain way. And if you heal it, that you'll find that things come way easier to you. So this also can represent reconciliation. So this person, you may have split up or something because of something that happened here. And now this is the person that's asking for another chance. And you're like, no, I'm done. The reconciliation would imply that you would need to forgive and also heal your heart. And so this energy, you know, you could forgive someone and, you know, still care about them, but you don't want to be hanging around them. You don't want to reconcile. You don't want to have a relationship with them again. And that's fine. Like, that's up to you. The Six of Cups energy sometimes can represent someone from, also it could represent a new lover coming in that you knew since childhood. And maybe you went home for a family reunion or a high school reunion and you run into them. So sometimes it can represent that type of energy with someone, you know, like you haven't seen since childhood, you know, that you grew up in the same town or whatever. Or maybe you went to school together, that, you know, that kind of energy. So when you first look at this card, you see, oh, it looks like there's two children playing, and they're playing with these potted flowers. And you know, but then you look again and you realize, wait a minute, that's a gnome and that's a little woman. And if you look at her from the back here, she looks like an old hag. And if you look at her from the front, she looks like a young woman. And she's wearing this white mitt, which says, I don't want to get my hands dirty. I don't want to handle these flowers. The old hag is like, let's get going. We don't want your damn flowers. We don't. They're not even yours to give away. And the younger version is like being nice, and she's explaining how they don't want to get dirty, and you know. And so this is talking about: are you going to be a people pleaser your whole life, or are you just going to be able to say no when you don't want something and not have to explain yourself? And this energy also, there's illusion here because white flowers in tarot represent that there's a certain innocence. And these flowers are from the nightshade family. This is Datra. And Datra, sometimes shamans use it to produce visions in ceremony for adults. And they've been doing it for centuries, so they know what they're doing. But if you would never let a child play with this plant, because or a pet, and you wouldn't put it in your yard, because if they ingest it, they could become really sick. And so not only that, but the person that looked like they were watching over them, when you look closer, they're actually walking down the path. And they're a stranger, stranger danger. So this whole scenario on this card is like full of illusions, and that could be the kind of energy that you're dealing with from your past, your childhood. You might have memories that are not quite clear, or you know, your things may not have been quite the way you remember them or the way people told you they were. And also this is in your position of transition. And so I feel like if you were with someone and they're asking to come back in, you're like, no, I've met this other person now, and I've done a lot of work to heal. I wish you the best, but I'm not, no, I'm not going to do that again. And this is the transition of moving from that energy. And I feel like it's also talking like this is in Scorpio energy transition. On it would be the Scorpio house in the horoscope wheel, and that's the moon coming up. The full moon tomorrow is in Scorpio, and so it's deep energy. It's like really thinking, you know, like really going deep, and it's a lot of feeling energy. Scorpio is the middle water sign, and it's talking about really the moon is going to be quite hard, like it's going to be quite emotional for a lot of people, and it's kind of revolving. Like Scorpio loves transformation, and the opposing sign for Scorpio on the wheel is Taurus. And so the Taurus and the Scorpio energy are going to be like kind of conflicting each other here, because Taurus cares about their possessions, and they're like, leave my shift alone. I like my security. I want to know that the bills are paid. I want to know exactly where the money's going. And Scorpio energy is, let's blow it up and see if we can make it better when we put it back together. And it's like, no. So there's a conflict there, and it can talk about an inner conflict, and also we see it being played out in the world right now. So this full moon, where you may be already feeling this energy, and Uranus and all these new planets in Aries. So all of that together is causing a lot of some people find it, they get really anxious from this energy because it's too much change, it's too much new. And some signs like Sagittarius can handle it pretty good because they like adventure and they like knowledge for the sake of it. Gemini, it's right up your alley. So, I feel like it's actually good energy for Sagittarius to be in. It's going to inspire you to look at doing things in new ways that could really bring in a lot of really good energy for you. And so a breath of fresh air. So the Page of Swords energy, the pages would work for the king and queen. In the old days, they would come from the surrounding families, and they would start very young, 7 to 14, because you have to remember back then, the life expectancy was about half of what it is now. So they would, there wasn't really a time where you weren't working when you were in those days. But the young children, when they were mature enough, and if they came from like a family that was well educated in the area, they would have an opportunity to be able to work in the palace. And that would be a real coup, because that would be a really upscale job. And if they were really good at it, they might, did a really good job, they might be considered for knighthood when they got old enough, usually around 21, so long as they could afford their own horse. And so this energy is a really good opportunity for being, an apprentice, and that type of energy, learning like things that you would never get to learn if you didn't work for the king and queen. And their main job would be to run messages back and forth and to do small tasks and errands. And so this card is about communication, and generally it's representing kind of a more youthful energy, like high-spirited energy. It's not necessarily an age, but it's talking about feeling like you're that age kind of thing. And so the information coming in the old days, it would always be in person, and this would be a male for sure. But nowadays, this could be a female in her masculine energy, and it could also be the information coming in could be like so many ways we communicate now. It doesn't have to be in person, so you don't have to be waiting for someone to knock at your door when it's in a tarot reading. This could easily be a phone call, a text message. It could be, an invitation in the mail, or documents that come through, or maybe you get a certificate and you have passed, you got your degree, that type of energy. It could be just an aha. Like a thought, like a breath of fresh air. I got it, eureka, I've got it. I have this great idea that I want to move forward on. It's that type of energy. And you'll notice that this page is not looking at the sword. he's looking away from it because he's already logically understands what the question is, and now he's looking away because he thinks outside the box. So this is someone who has got a very innovative mind, and he's looking for to use his intuition to see, can I come up with a creative solution that's not so obvious? That perfect energy to be in for this time. It matches the energy, and it supports it. So especially when there's a full moon, we're highly intuitive. So pay attention to your random thoughts. Journal them if you think you're going to forget, because they might come up later and be like, hey, that would be a really good business idea or something like that. Because this is in your higher learning. Or maybe you see, I just was thinking, like, I've seen this in my head, is that maybe you're seeing something posted and you're thinking, you know what, I think I'm going to take that course. I've always wondered about that. And after you take, it might just be a short course, and after you take it, you're like, wow, I didn't think I like that really interests me. I might go to university for it or something. It's that type of energy. So this is awesome. This is saying that there's someone coming into your life that's like a soulmate energy, and it could be this lover energy for sure. Quite often soulmate energy is a lover, but it also is representing, I feel like for this reading it's representing both because we have the lovers here, and I feel like this is also about coming together with good ideas. The soulmate energy is on a soul level, that your mind is happy, like your will is, you fit with each other. Sorry. And this energy is talking about a balance of masculine and feminine energy within each of these people, like a balanced person. So they don't need each other, but they just enjoy each other's company. And this energy, quite often, soulmates can be really opposite when they meet. Lovers like this, because they might be like from different cultures, or one's totally different professions, different education, different religion. It could be a lot of things, but when they get talking to each other, they realize, well, I had that happen when I was that age, and I had that happen. That kind of energy. So quite often they'll be very different from your usual type that you would date, but you just click. And this energy is really beneficial, because if you're with a soulmate that's supportive of what you're doing in business and in love, it could be a lot of fun. And it's talking about really strong communication between, and then very strong communication each of them has with the higher self, with their higher self, what I call the higher self network, HSN. So HSN is like the internet. You log on and get the information you want. But the thing is that the difference is HSN, we're on it 24/7, whether we're aware of it or not. So this is having like blessings, or this is your career and reputation, that you could have a lot of, this could be a real beneficial relationship as for business as well as for love. Awesome. So the Tower's not so bad after all. And then we have, okay, so this card can represent too, and I feel like it's representing the old days and the new days kind of energy. So this person is carrying a very heavy load here, and basically, like if you had your soulmate now, you could just say, okay, you carry half and I'll carry half, and then that would solve the problem. But this guy's all on his own, and he's trying to get this load home, and his head's in there, so he can't see where he's going really. And this is saying, there's a saying, can't see the forest because of the trees, and that's when you're so enmeshed in the detail that you can't see the big picture anymore. Like he can't see that he's almost home, and it's getting really heavy, and he's tired, and he just wants to drop it, really. Sometimes this card can be representing you're still carrying burdens, like from the past that don't belong to you, burdens from other people, and you just stop right there and put them down, because when this Chariot is coming in, it's talking about karma's coming in. So, a lot of people feel like karma is punishment, but it's not. It's just cause and effect of your actions. Our actions eventually catch up to us. That's bottom line. And so you could have direct karma. You did something directly, and you know, you did this, and now like it caused a big problem, and now you have to sort it out. It could be indirect, like maybe your parents might have had something left over before they passed on, and now you're stuck with dealing with it for the family bloodline, and that happens quite often. Or it could be business associates, or people you hire, people that hire you, like whatever it is. It's you have associations with energy, and now you have to clean it up. So if you know you're carrying someone else's burdens for them, just put them down now, because when the karma hits, you're going to be involved in that instead of being on this path that you're supposed to be on. And if you've done all the hard work, it's not really fair. This energy also is representing these, the wands represent seeds that you've planted and then took action on. So a lot of this could be like they're just really heavy with the fruits of your labor. You put a lot of work into it and got there's a lot here, and you can sort it out when you get home, basically here. You're almost there. This is saying don't quit now, because it's time to harvest. And this can sometimes represent an energy. The best way I can explain it is like it could represent an energy like if you purchased a home, and you bought this house 5 years ago, say, and you really, really like it. You got it at a good price. You've enjoyed living there, but now you want to move, and you have to fix it up or put some money into it. Maybe the real estate market is a little soft, and so you have to do some work to it to be able to sell it. And it's like it's an asset, and it's done well for you, but it feels burdensome because it's a lot of extra work that you have to do on top of what you're doing, and you just want to move forward. So sometimes this doesn't represent always like burdens that are of no value, that kind of energy. So is that okay? I have this off a little bit. Yeah. Okay. For some reason, my brain can't compute this. Yeah, because this is blessings coming in. So I do feel that this is representing blessings, but if there's any burdens that you're carrying from this old energy, you want to lay them down. Lay them down in the field and phone the person up and say, hey, yeah, put your burdens down in the field. Come and pick them up. And if they don't, whatever. A lot of times you may notice that if you've been carrying burdens for other people, they prefer when you do it for them. So don't expect them to be excited about it. And then, here we have the passion. This is what, this is going into secrets coming out, the energy, you're on, like being satisfied on a spiritual level. So this is awesome. This is talking that the universe and God are conspiring to bring in a beautiful gift of passion for you, which would be great with a new lover. But it's also a passion for, putting down this load and recognizing, okay, you've really accomplished something. And enjoy the reward. Take some time to enjoy it. It's important not just to, be working all the time and not enjoying the fruits of your labor. Really good energy, Sagittarius. I do hope you've enjoyed this. Give it a like and comment if you're leaving the reading here. I'm going to clarify it for those who still want clarification. If you give it a like and comment, I would really appreciate it. It gives me, it helps build my channel. It's really helpful to me. And I'm going to clarify now with my oracle. And now this is something I started in 2007, and I've been in 2020 I finished all 64 paintings. I'm an artist, so I have the numbers on these cards represent, I have a website, talesfromthevector.com. This is courtesy of the Intergalactic Federation of Light. And so you can check out the paintings on my website if you want. I'll put in the description box below. The numbers on these cards represent the paintings in the order they are in the gallery there. Sometimes looking at a picture, like they say, it paints 1,000 words, so it might give you further clarity. And you might just find it interesting. So this is, I'm bringing the deck out eventually, but I'm working with playing with the cards. I have a lot of written material, but I want to play with them because that's the only really way that you could tell. And every reading I learn something new, so it's paying off. I'm taking notes. And when I feel like, okay, I have the information correct, then I will bring it out. So the expectations create limitations. So this is talking, I feel like this energy here, you can go on a foolish journey when you're the fool, or you can go on a foolhardy journey. And so this is talking about, there may be parts here that you felt like you had a lot of expectations that it was going to be turning out really well, and maybe you had expectations of this person and it didn't work out. So that's what that's talking about. And this is talking about you need to use your intuition. The High Priestess uses her intuition. She sits next to God. All this, the energy is a lot of information coming in. It's infinite potential. But sometimes when we have so much information coming in, you may have noticed it can be a little overwhelming. So it's about sorting through the information and then being able to get neutral to it, so that you can figure out, okay, you don't have to be all emotional about it. You don't have to overthink it. You just get the facts together and then you decide, okay, what am I going to do? And not like have to be in this energy where you're in agony over it. Like, oh, what if I make the wrong decision? You know, and then overthink it. And it's so hard on a person when you do that. So this is talking, yeah, you want to use your third eye if you are in the magician energy for sure, and using your intuition and dissemination of information. I feel this is talking about the choices of lovers in the past. It may not, you may have had a few relationships that were kind of more like this energy. And this is when there's an elephant in the room and you're saying, what elephant? And then you start believing yourself when you say, well, there's not, that's just my imagination. And then the tower has to hit and the reality check. And then you're like, oh, dang, like again? And then you're disappointed. And it's saying you need to take a look at that. And this person that God is telling you, I'm sending this one in. This is not going to be your type. Your type sucks. It's that kind of energy. You might want to date someone slightly different from the last 3 disappointments. Maybe that would help. God can be quite sarcastic. So this is about the throat chakra energy. So this is about creating harmony. Yeah, it's very helpful if maybe when you were a child you just didn't feel heard, or you didn't feel like you could speak up, that type of energy. Or maybe your parents were stressed out and they used harsh words sometimes, you know, that type of energy. We always say when we're, oh, when I grow up, I'm going to be patient with my children. And then next thing you know, we're like, dang, I turned into my parents. So the degradation here is, that's because children don't come with manuals. So degradation is, yeah, like when you're feeling like, it can be really challenging if you're in a relationship and someone's been sneaking around behind your back, and then everybody seems to know but you. And then you find out all the people that you thought were close to you, and they didn't tell you. And then it's like it's almost like another whammy, you know, and it's a degrading energy. It sucks the energy out of you. The Hierophant energy, definitely it's sitting right on the Hierophant. So it's saying that this is a blessing. You've learned what you don't want, so now let's go with what you do, that kind of energy. You need a reality check and it's hit. The crown blew off, bottom line. So here, opened your mind up and you're listening now. And so to your intuition, that's what it's saying. So this is a major transition. That's what the World card is talking about, and it's for the better from this old energy. I just feel like maybe like this could be a good person that just does, you know, that it's just it doesn't work out when you never know what they're going to do next, and then if they get involved in like crime in some sort, and then you're like, no, like it's just that's not what you were wishing for. I'm getting what you wanted was how you saw the good in them. And that's good that you can. But when you wish upon a star, you can't just sit there. You have to put some energy into it and make sure it's going in the direction you want it to. And so that's having a strong attitude when a tower hits. Learn as much as you can from it so you can move on from it as quickly as possible. And that's what the Chariot is saying. And I feel that you have done a lot of work with that to be in that energy, and that's why the Hierophant energy is coming in now and saying, here's a blessing for you. This was a blessing in disguise, this reality check. It woke you up. And then we have the Hermit here, which is, talking about, the Hermit goes to the top of the mountain to isolate. I want to have some downtime. And I feel like if you're feeling exhausted like this, it can be really beneficial just to go somewhere for the day, even if that's what all you can do, and take an afternoon off and get out in nature so that you can have that breath of fresh air. And you'd be surprised how that little shift sometimes can bring along that that feeling, I got it. You've been thinking about it. It's like if there's a name on the tip of your tongue and it's bugging you because you can't remember it, that type of energy. The Leo energy is coming in here. So I just want to point out, when my horoscope signs come in, I'm not talking about an individual. So I'm not saying your soulmate is a Leo. It could be like, that's what it's like for you as an individual. Use your intuition. When the horoscope cards come out for me in my general collective readings like this, I'm talking about the energy of the sign. So the Leo energy is ruled by the sun, and so it's just reaffirming that the soulmate energy is a gift from God, and that this will help you both become leaders, like in your own, you're on your own paths and together, and being able to. The Leo energy can be like very youthful and exuberant and quite impulsive. So you might be really different from each other for a reason, because but if you're a Sagittarius and a Leo together, it's actually a pretty good match. But there's a lot of fire there, so be aware of that kind of energy. You might, if you have totally different educations or something, or professions, it could really open your eyes to the other side of the story, that kind of energy. It could be really beneficial. And still having the passion and the fire. And this is talking about the Tower. So it's talking about the Tower, making sure, I feel that you did put your burdens down when you went through this process here. And that's why your soulmate came in. And now this is talking about the benefits of that Tower. And the divorce on in my oracle, it's actually the worst divorce is from source. So as long as you're on your destined path, things have a tendency to work out in the long run. And then we have the Hangman again. So this is talking about having that balance. And the Hangman hangs from the Tree of Knowledge upside down to get a different perspective. And this, in my oracle, this is a really pretty dragonfly, and she's doing a headstand. So her tail's up in the air, and she's doing a headstand on an echinacea flower. And echinacea is very healing. So I feel like this whole energy is going to be really, really good. And it'll create balance in your life that you haven't had in the past, maybe. Really nice reading. I'm really happy with this one. I do hope you have enjoyed it, Sagittarius. Give it a like and a comment if you have, please. And consider subscribing if you resonate with the energy of the channel. I would be honored if you did so. I will be back with another reading for you soon. Bye for now. Yeah, I have to wake you up. Little kitty.